Got to look there at Mark Gibson, one of the few drivers making moves toward the front. He got by one machine to move to 7th. There's Blaze Alexander closing in on the 43 and the 5 car. The 5 is Robbie Coward out of Savannah, Georgia. That 43, that Pontiac, that's Scott Kuhn from Thomasville, North Carolina. He's got Kyle Petty's Victory Junction on the nose of that car, and I suspect that might be a former Petty Enterprises machine.
Well, he's a Petty Enterprises employee. He works there during the week, so Petty Enterprises has a lot to do with this car. And right now, he's fighting for his life to stay in front of Blaze Alexander right now.
Lower lap down to Blaze, who is the leader. There's Kerry Earnhardt in the 2 car, running in 2nd spot. Frank Kimmel in the 46 is 3rd, about 8 or 9 car lengths between each of those machines. Alexander trying to left by Kuhn. Oh, and he sends Kuhn for a ride. The 43 car spins out of 2, touches the wall, roof flaps come up. There's body damage on that machine, so Scott Kuhn will have to come to pit road. Didn't look like he made hard contact with the wall, but he definitely rearranged the front sheet metal on the 43.
Yeah, I know when we look at the replay, I don't know if we're going to be able to see if he touched him or not, but I couldn't tell because that's a part of the racetrack, like I said, when you take the air off the spoiler, the car really gets loose. We'll be able to look right here.
Here we are coming out of 2. Alexander in the black car. A little bit of contact there.
I think Scott was just already breaking loose, and what happens was the car lost a little momentum as it broke loose, and that's why Blaze touched him. It was a combination of both, I think.
Yeah. So contact sends the 43 car around and into the wall, and he will come to pit road. Here's another look. The original angle. It just had that look about it that perhaps the 75 had just caused the 43 to lose traction. And that's one of those places it happens at Charlotte.
Yeah, and, you know, hey, it's a racing accident, but, you know, Mr. Kuhn was trying to stay on the lead lap and not go down, and that's what happens. And the leaders are pitting.
So the question mark about whether anyone would try to go all the way is being answered. Top 3 cars are on pit road. Let's take a look at what happens. Alexander's crew over the wall. They'll do right side tires. Put some fuel in that machine. And then they'll go around and add left side. So a 4-tire stop for Alexander in the 75 car. Same thing for the DEI crew. Steve Parks, Winston Cup team, pitting the 2 car tonight. Along with the Jackman from Michael Waltrip's crew and the fueler from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Budweiser team. And look who's down and away first. It's Blaze Alexander's bunch. They get the 75 out ahead of Kerry Earnhardt.
Blaze was out first. Billy's car, Venturini's, was the 2nd one off, and then Kerry Earnhardt's was the 3rd one off, Jack. And then here comes Kimmel.
So Billy Venturini will be 3rd in the line, and then here comes Tim Steele, who pitted toward the front.
Yeah, but you got to remember that, you know, the number 1 of Andy Belmont and the 19 car stayed out, so they're going to be in front of these guys.
Johnny Sauter driving the Target Saws car tonight. Very fine young race driver from the Sauter family from Wisconsin. We'll be back.
Hey, I'm Tim Allen, and you're watching Speed Vision.
Coming up on 20 laps to go here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, the ARCA RE Series, and Scott Kuhn's night apparently will be over, at least for now. He heads behind the wall in the 43, and Bill, I'm surprised. The car didn't look that heavily damaged. They're going to pull the hood and take a look, I guess.
Well, you know, he's not running for the points. He's here to get experience, and if the car's not right, you just have a chance to end up hurting yourself or someone else later on. So bring it behind the wall, look at it, make sure everything's right before you worry about getting it back out. Now, some of these guys have pitted and some didn't. You know, you got Andy Belmont leading it and Sauter running 2nd, and then you got the cars that pitted. I don't know if these first 2 guys are going to be sitting ducks or not. You know, they're going to gamble. They're saying, all right, we're going to go the whole race without pit stop. You know, if anyone pitted, I think this was the perfect opportunity. Put on 4 tires. I don't know. I don't know who made the right call, the guys that pitted or the guys that stay out. We're going to find out real soon, though.
Getting ready to restart here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Ron Cox, last car on the lead lap in the 23. He is up high there. That's the greenish machine with the red trim and the blue on the car. Right in front of Belmont. Keep your eye on Johnny Sauter in that 19 car. Won 10 races in ASA this year, 10 of 20 in his rookie season to win the championship and Rookie of the Year honors. First time that's ever been done.
Yeah, and they had motor problems in practice even before qualifying. The Richard Childress team had to change the motor, so they're in their 2nd motor for the weekend.
And Johnny signed to drive a Busch car for Richard Childress Racing next year, and they've assisted Kevin Counselor's team and put Sauter in that car this weekend. Green flag. Coming up about 20 laps to go.
Whoa, Kimmel got into the left rear of Billy Venturini, moving him up a lane into the corner.
And all of this allows Andy Belmont to build a good lead down the backstretch. Look at this. Here comes the 2 of Kerry Earnhardt down low, lapping by Ron Cox and getting around Blaze Alexander. So Earnhardt back to 2nd, Alexander 3rd. Cox now lap down. Johnny Sauter trying to hang on to second to the 19 car. And here comes Kerry Earnhardt swinging inside the 19. No problem at all for Kerry Earnhardt.
Well, I think the Sauter car and the Andy Belmont car #1, this was their best chance to finish up in the top 5. They weren't running up in the top 5 all day long. They decided to go for track position. Oh, Tim Steele slides underneath Billy Venturini, getting into the corner.
Steele up to 6th now, dropping the 25 car back to 7th. Chase Montgomery back there. Mark Gibson behind now, and here's Earnhardt swinging to the high side around Andy Belmont down into the corner to pick up another position. So Earnhardt should be back to the lead in the 2 car. Belmont just not quick enough to stay with it.
Nice move by Kerry to go around on the outside. Now look, Blaze looking on inside of Andy Belmont.
The Pontiac of Blaze Alexander down into 3. Moves back to 2nd spot. Driving right by Andy Belmont as they head to the corner. Belmont's America Online Ford just not a match for either of those 2 lead cars. Johnny Sauter is 4th, and Kimmel with Tim Steele right behind him to see if they can do anything with Johnny Sauter here in the waning laps.
Yeah, I see coming off of turn 4, Billy Venturini hit the outside wall with the right rear.
Did he?
Yeah, I don't know if he's got problems or not. He's actually starting to slip back, and then he bounced off the wall.
There he is, that deeper blue machine now behind Steele. Steele and Kimmel trying to hook up and head to the front here late in the going. These probably the 2 dominant teams in ARCA this year, although Steele has not run all the races in the 16 car. But he's got a couple of victories, including a short track win at Berlin up in Michigan a short time ago.
Outside.
And Kimmel now inside the 19 car of Johnny Sauter.
Clear.
Look at that. Had to go inside to go around Sauter and outside to go around a slower car.
That is one of the challenges of racing in ARCA. You've got a huge speed differential between the top 10 or 12 cars up front and then some of the cars that are a couple of laps down deep in the pack. Billy Venturini still ahead of Jason Jarrett and Chase Montgomery battling back there 7th, 8th, and 9th. Mark Gibson back in the mix there as well. Gibson at the tail end of this pack of cars. It's headed for the moment by Kimmel, who has gotten by the 19.
Yeah, it looks like this group of cars right here are kind of equal. No one seems to be pulling away. The front 2 cars are kind of set sailing, but from Kimmel on back, everyone looks pretty well equal. As a matter of fact, they're all closing up on Frank Kimmel right now.
Kimmel is 3rd, Sauter is 4th, Steele is 5th, Venturini would be 6th then. Make that Andy Belmont in 3rd, and then Kimmel in 4th. Steele trying to find his way around Johnny Sauter. The 2 leaders, Kerry Earnhardt and Blaze Alexander. And you're on board with Jason Jarrett, closing in on Billy Venturini's 25 car.
I like this. This is fun watching in-car cameras. This is my favorite shot anyhow. So.
Now the battle up front is a tight one here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Just a handful of laps left in the EasyCare 100. We'll be back. We are back at Lowe's Motor Speedway. I'm Rick Benjamin, Bill Venturini alongside Don Radebaugh on pit road. Frank Kimmel trying to move by Andy Belmont for position. This would be for 3rd, and Kimmel sweeps around him. Kicks Belmont back to 4th. Johnny Sauter in the 19, and Tim Steele battling for 5th. Steele may have the advantage down low. Look at that. Boy, they're tight down there. Billy Venturini back up to speed build right in behind Steele.
Yeah, it looks like it takes a few laps for air pressure to build up on that car. I got to learn how to get that car to be quicker on the restarts.
Here comes Jason Jarrett now starting to rumble late in the going here. Jarrett to the inside of that purple and yellow Pontiac, and he's got Chase Montgomery drafting with him. Venturini tries to stick the 25 car down at the bottom to move up on Steele. Steele says, I'm going high, and they rub. He and Belmont touch. And Venturini with a good move to the inside.
I was a little impressed with that. Nice move. Slid by both of them on the inside.
Very nice move by Billy Venturini to grab a couple of spots away. So now he is in front of Steele. Belmont backpedaling. Mark Gibson back there with Johnny Sauter and white machine in the mix.
Yeah, that's Richard Mitchell in the 54 car. Earlier I wasn't sure if the right decision was tires or track position. Definitely 4 tires was the answer for this race.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter and Andy Belmont decided to not pit there with about 20 laps to go. They stayed on the racetrack, and their car's not nearly as quick now as the leaders. And it's still Kerry Earnhardt in the deuce. The 75 of Blaze Alexander right behind him in 2nd. I don't think Blaze Alexander has got it up. At least he hasn't shown that he's got consistent speed to run with Earnhardt.
Yeah, well, he runs with him, he passes him, and then when Kerry takes the lead, he kind of pulls away from him. I I don't know if they're playing a cat and mouse game here or not, or if actually lap traffic's played a big part in it. But it looks to me like right now, actually, Blaze is closing up on Kerry Earnhardt right now.
Blaze Alexander, the former ARCA Rookie of the Year, has a win this season, as does Kerry Earnhardt. Alexander, former runner, of course, in the NASCAR Busch Series, lost that ride at the end of last season, trying to work his way back up the racing ladder here tonight.
So you got Kimmel running third, Billy Venturini running fourth, and Tim Steele running fifth. But, you know, there was that big gap between Billy Venturini and Steele and Kimmel, and these guys are closing up on Frank Kimmel right now. So it's like you got the first two cars battling for the lead, then Frank's kind of by himself, and then the rest of the field's starting to close up on Frank Kimmel. Speaking
of closing up, Blaze Alexander closing right in on the back deck lid of Kerry Earnhardt down the backstretch. And as you said, Bill, Blaze able to catch Earnhardt on several different times today. He's been able to move that car, the 75, up on the back deck lid of the Deuce.
Yeah, but I've noticed this when they're going into lap traffic, and we've seen it earlier. I think Blaze is getting through lap traffic just a little better than Kerry. Kerry may be being a little more cautious because he's leading right now and he can afford to be. Well, Blaze has got to be the aggressor right now.
Both these drivers need to win and want to win badly here tonight at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Lap traffic is ahead. Earnhardt is first in line in the 2 car. Alexander is next in the 75, running 1-2 in the waning stages of the EasyCare 100 here. By the 45 machine. That's the car being driven tonight by J.R. Robbs out of Gaffney, South Carolina. That Pontiac, his second car of the week here after wrecking one earlier on.
And I say, look at Blaze will catch him in lap traffic, and this time Kerry Earnhardt pulls away from him. Put some distance between them.
Well, there was one sequence earlier tonight where it was Kerry Earnhardt who was much quicker through lap traffic than Blaze. So I think both these young drivers have really shown a lot here tonight and shown some patience when they needed to have.
And I think their cars must be pretty equal because it just depends on, I think, on how the temperature is on their tires. And I can't tell you which one's quicker because at one point they're both faster than each other.
Moving by lap cars through the tri-oval now. The 2 leaders there, and here's the distance back to Frank Kimmel, who's running third. Shelby Howard there in the white car, not on the lead lap. Amazing thing, really, when you think about it. Kimmel has been so good everywhere we've gone this year. And to have him come here to Lowe's Motor Speedway and just not be on pace with the leaders is really surprising.
Well, I'm clocking these guys, and they are running some unbelievably fast laps. You know, they're running in the mid-30s right now, which is a race pace. I mean, that's like qualifying pace, and they're racing right now. And that's Kimmel, and the 5th and 6th place cars are running the same times.
Well, Shelby Howard's learning a lot here tonight, although he's not running up in the lead group. It's Earnhardt leading Alexander close to the finish at Charlotte.